Hi, everybody. Welcome back for more scientific literacy. Um, we are in the second part of this course, and we are going to start kind of alternating between the writing assignment and some additional content. And this is mostly to give me a chance to give you guys feedback on your writing assignment before we move on to the next part of the writing assignment. So we're gonna go back and forth here. And if just looking at this diagram that I showed you on the first day, I told you that we were going to look at three specific aspects of scientific literacy. And we have, okay? So we've spent the whole first part of the course learning how to read primary scientific literature, which is huge. You guys have this skill now, you're good to go, you're going to keep getting better, more expert-like. I'm really pleased with the progress you've made on the first part of the course, and I think we've done very well with this part of scientific literacy. We've also looked at experimental design. You're working on that a little bit now with the paper you're going to write, but we also looked at it while we were reading primary scientific literature. So we talked about methods and data and what you can get from looking at a graph, all the all the information from the way the experiment was designed, the questions that were being asked, things like that. So that is experimental design. So this is ongoing. We've done a little bit about it, and we're going to keep moving forward with your experimental design proposals that you're going to be writing. And we are doing scientific writing. So you're going to look for sources. You're going to write a previous work section. So what do we already know about your topic? And then you're going to write about what we don't know about your topic and some ideas you have for finding that out. So those are three very important parts of science literacy. I'm also going to add a fourth part in here, the second half of this course, which is scientific careers. Okay, so we're going to alternate some work on scientific careers, getting you guys learning more about scientific careers, what you can do with your biology degree, learning how to present yourself as a scientist, present yourself as a biologist as you move on, towards whatever career is right for you. So this lecture is going to be on the scientific career side of things. And it's short, it's sweet, it's more of a homework assignment for you, really. But I'm going to have you take this assessment called myIDP, which stands for My Individual Development Plan. So it's personal to you, and it's going to ask you some questions about your career, your interests in future careers, what values about future careers interest you, and what skills you already have for these future careers, and skills that you would need to work on for careers. So it's a pretty easy assessment. Here's the link. I'm also going to put the link in Canvas, and I'm going to try to do this here, go and show you exactly what it looks like when you get there. So here's mine. I take it pretty regularly. I take it about once a year just to kind of see where I am, update things, see what's changed, things that I'm getting better at, things that maybe have fallen off my radar. But it's an assessment tool that's going to ask you a bunch of questions about your skills, your interests, and your values as they relate to careers. Okay, and it's on, you guys are familiar with this, the 1 to 5 Likert scale, with 5 being yes, I'm very good at this, and 1 being no, I'm not so good at this. Okay, so as you go through, it's going to, like I said, it's going to ask you about skills. It's going to ask you about interests. So as you click through each of these, you'll click on the tab that says My Assessments, and you'll see a list here of questions that relate to your interests in careers. And then there will also be a values assessment. So these questions would say, when you go to work every day, what do you value? What do you want to get out of your job? What do you want to get out of your career? What do you want to get out of your relationship with coworkers? Those kinds of things. So this will take you probably about 20 minutes to go through and answer everything, questions honestly. And let's go back to my slides here. And there's a couple things I want you to keep in mind as you're going through and taking this assessment. First, overall, what you put into this assessment is what you're going to get out of this assessment. Okay, so this assessment is going to take your answers, it's going to put it into an algorithm, and on the other side, it's going to give you some careers that fit the data that you put in. Okay, so if you put in bad data, you're going to get bad results. Okay, so if you take this assessment on your phone while you're waiting in line in Target, you're not really focusing, right? So you're going to put in bad data and you're going to get bad answers. Okay, so the first thing I want you to do is really find a place to quietly sit. Okay, it's going to take you about 20 minutes, so just go somewhere where you can sit quietly and not have any disruptions for 20 minutes and just focus and take this assessment. Okay, Second, I want you to be very honest with your answers, okay? If you put a 1, which means you're not very good at something, that's okay. Maybe the reason you're not good at it is because you've never tried it, okay? So one of the skills listed on there is, and are you good at writing grants? I'm guessing most of you have never written a grant, and that's okay. You're very early in your career. You don't have to write grants yet, okay? So just because you put a 1 for something doesn't mean you're bad at it. It might just means you haven't tried it or you haven't had enough practice, okay? So be really honest. If you're good at something, okay, mark it as good. If you haven't tried something or you're not good at it or you've rarely ever practiced it, it's okay to put a 1 or a 2, okay? That goes again with being honest, and what you get in or what you put in to myIDP is going to influence what you get out of myIDP, okay? So be honest. I want you to go into this with an open mind. So if you want to be a doctor, that's absolutely fine, but I don't want you to take this test from the viewpoint of a doctor, okay? I don't want you to force your answers into what you think a doctor would put, okay? I want you to go in as yourself. Answer honestly as yourself, not as a doctor or a veterinarian or a dentist or whatever career you guys are looking for. Answer it as yourself, okay? Put the career you want out of your mind and do your best to answer with a clear mind, okay? Then, at the end of this, when you get your answer, I want you to remember that the algorithm is not perfect, okay? This is not a test that is, going to predict what you're going to do as a future career. It's just more of a way to get you thinking about these skills, values, and interests that go into careers and finding out which are very important to you, which aren't really important, you could do without, and skills that you might want to work on improving, within the next couple of years as you get ready to head out there into the STEM workforce. Okay, so I'm going to go back here and show you a couple more things on this. So here under the assessment is where skills, interests, and values. So those are the 3 that I want you to complete. And you'll go to the assessment and you'll go ahead and honestly, with an open mind and being, focusing and answering truthfully, you'll go through and answer all these. Okay, and what you're going to get here, if you click on summary, it's going to rank all of these. I'm in the values section now. So it's going to rank all your values here, values that you feel are essential to what you need to do, and values that you don't really mind. If this happens, great. If it doesn't happen, also great. Okay, so I want you to pay attention to this chart because this can be used, especially with the skills. Let me go to skills and I'll show you here. Okay, you'll get a summary here. So these are skills that you're probably really good at. You gave yourself a 5, okay? So these are skills you might not need to work on, okay? But what's going on down here with this 1, these 2, and these 3s? Again, you might have put a 1 or a 2 because you've never done this skill and you're just not good at it yet, okay? So me, I have statistical analysis. I'm terrible at it. It's because I took stats 20 years ago and I've never bothered to take a refresher, and I really, really struggle with this, okay? But what this tells me is it's a skill I don't have, and it's a skill I really need to focus on and figure out a way to get better at so I can bump it up to maybe a 3 or a 4 or a 5, okay? So these summary tabs can be used almost as a roadmap for skills and things that you need to work on or that you want to improve, and to start thinking about, okay, how could I do that? All right, so use this test both as a diagnostic tool and also as an overall assessment on maybe skills or experiences and values that you might want to spend a little more time thinking about. Okay, so at the end of the test, you're going to get, it's going to take you to a screen like this, where you're going to have a bunch of careers that are listed. It's going to tell you how well your skills match this career, how well your interests match this career. And if you click over here, it will tell you a little bit about your values in that career. So this is what I want you to turn in for homework. Okay, so when you get to this final assessment screen here, where it lists out your potential careers. Remember, these are potential. The algorithm is not perfect. I want you to take a screenshot of this and upload it to Canvas so that I know that you've made it through the entirety of the assessment. Okay, that is it for the myIDP. I hope you guys enjoy the assessment. I hope you enjoy thinking about your skills, your values, and your interests, and how they all come together to make you a scientist and make you a biologist. And we'll use this kind of as the introduction to starting to think about careers. and how we can get you thinking about them more and prepared more when you go ahead to answer the workforce. So, okay, that is our first lecture on science careers, and hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.